dinosaur?
Whose tablet is that?
Our setting was where? In the jungle. How did Max get to the jungle in our story?
It was his imagination.
It was his imagination.
I did not. A boat.
What was it, Jonah?
A boat.
He sailed in a boat. How did the boat move? Did he row it?
No.
So how did it move?
It was a sailboat.
Which moves with the
Wind.
wind. What is wind?
I'm a sailboat. It's nothing that's in the air.
What's wind?
This is a bomb. Where? It's a thing right there.
I'm asking Jaden.
It's where it's very windy, like the grass and the jungle.
What is wind though? What have we been talking about in science class? Elias?
Air.
Air. So wind is air. So today we're gonna be making our own boat in groups. Do you want our boat to sink or float? Float. So we're gonna watch a video.
So no paper on cardboard because it gets wet and it destroys either.
I've got materials for you guys.
It's scary. I know why.
Hocus pocus.
Focus.
Hocus pocus.
Focus.
We're gonna watch this video. I have not told you guys what materials we're using yet. I have not told you your groups. I will tell you that in a minute. Right now we're gonna watch this video. Because we want our boats to float. Can't play the video if you guys are talking.
Cash back. Save 50% on the Essential Teacher subscription, education.com. Download unlimited.
Have you ever tossed some sticks into a pond? Or maybe you like to bring a bunch of toys into the tub? Either way, you've probably found that not all objects act the same when they're in the water. Some things sink right to the bottom, while other things float on the top. Why does that happen? Well, I brought some friends to see if we can figure that out.
Hi everyone, my name's Webb, and
Hi, I'm his sister Bill. Since we live in a pond, we see a lot of things sink.
a lot of things float.
I bet. You know, you can actually learn a lot about something by seeing what it does in the water. So I'd say this calls for an experiment.
What do you think their experiment's gonna be? Raise your hand. I need hands. Julie?
It's going to put stuff in the water.
They're gonna put stuff in the water. What are they gonna try and see?
If it sinks or floats. I'm a
First, we'll need a pretty big container of water. We'll fill it about 3/4 full and set it up where it's okay if some splashes out. Now we need some stuff to put in the water.
All kinds of different stuff.
We're gonna look for a couple things around the fort that are okay to get wet. If you want to try this experiment at home, make sure you ask before you put anything from your house into the water. Let's see what we found. All right, Squeaks found a penny. I found a stick. And Bill and Webb, they found 2 different spoons, a metal one and a plastic one. Good job, guys. Now, before we get started, let's take a closer look at what we'll be testing. All of these things are made out of different materials, like metal, plastic, and wood. Some of them are pretty small, and some are a little bit bigger.
Do you guys think the stick's gonna sink or float?
float.
Raise your hand if you think float. Raise your hand if you think sink.
I think it's gonna sink because sticks
How about the penny? Do you think it's gonna sink or float?
sink.
Sink. How about the metal spoon?
Sink.
And the plastic spoon?
Float. Because it's heavier, it sinks. No, because bigger.
I think we have a pretty good group of objects because they're all pretty different. Now, before we start putting things in the water, let's guess whether each one will sink or float. And let's keep track of our guesses. But how will we... Great idea, Squeaks. We'll use a chart. All right, let's start with the stick. Bill, Webb, what do you think? Will it sink or float? Well, I can tell you guys are pretty excited. Tell us what you're thinking.
Well, in the pond where we live, I've never seen sticks that have sunk. Only ones that float.
Well, that's because you haven't seen the ones that have sunk.
Well, that's because they all float, Webb.
Okay, fine. Put me and Bill down for the stick floats.
Okay, Here we go.
Was our guess right?
You too? Next, let's try the metal spoon. What do you think? Will it sink or float?
I've never seen a spoon float.
Me neither.
Quack.
Quack, quack, quack. We think it'll sink.
Okay, let's see.
Are you right?
We're the smartest ducks in the world.
Yeah.
Now, what about the plastic spoon? Do you think it will sink or float?
Quack, quack, quack.
Quack, quack.
Well, it's the same shape as the other spoon.
Yeah, and we think it might sink, just like the metal spoon did.
Okay, let's see.
Bummer.
Well, that's okay, guys. That's how we learn, right?
Yeah, I guess. It's just weird. The other spoon sank.
Well, let's record our results and see if we can find out why it sank after we test our next object. Our next object will be the penny. Do you think it will sink or float?
Well, a penny feels a lot like a metal spoon, so I think it'll sink.
All right. And Webb, what do you think?
Well, it's so light, but kind of small, and I don't usually see things that small floating. I'll have to agree with my sister this time. It's gonna sink.
It is
Right?
Now to test all of our objects, let's look at our chart. Some of the objects floated and some of them sank. Let's see. The metal spoon and the penny sank. The plastic spoon and the stick
Guys, listen.
floated. Is there anything that's the same about the things that floated and the things that sank?
Well, we know that the metal thing sank, and the metal spoon feels kind of heavy.
But so does the stick, and the stick floated while the spoon sank. So maybe it's not all about how much something weighs or its shape.
You're right, and that might help us explain why some things float and some things sink. The answer has to do with something called density. Everything, and I mean everything.
What's density? How do we not know? Everything? Everything has density. Does anyone have a guess? Jaden, what do you think density is? Let's find out.
Is made of tiny particles that we can't see. As to how dense an object is depends on how much space is between those particles.
Particles?
Jesse, what the quack is a particle?
Now that's an awesome question. Let's use our imaginations and pretend that particles are marbles. We'll start with a bunch of marbles on a table. If you had the
Do we think this is close together or far apart? Close together. So do you think close together is going to have high density or low density? Low density. Let's see if we're right. Just wait.
all right next to each other, that's kind of how the particles would look inside an object that's dense, like the metal spoon. But if those marbles were spaced,
Was our guess right? It would float? Did the metal spoon float? What did it do? Sink. So if it's more dense, is it going to float or sink? What did the metal spoon do? Sink. So if it's more dense,
you put a lot more dense.
so if it's more dense, it's gonna sink. So if it's less dense, it's gonna.
I'm
really far apart, that would be
Antonio
more
said-
like what the particles are like in something that's less dense, like the plastic spoon.
See how far apart these are?
Yes. No, too close, I forgot.
That's okay. So does it have high density or low density? Low density.
The metal spoon is more dense than the plastic spoon. It's about the same size and shape, but the particles that make it up are closer together than the particles that make up the plastic one. But remember, everything has density, including water.
What?
It's true. Since water has its own density, if something is more dense than the water it's in, it'll sink. The metal spoon and the penny were more dense than the water, so they sank. And the stick and the plastic spoon were less dense than the water, so they floated. So will it sink or will it float? It depends, in part, on density. How did your experiment go?
Did you make some wrong guesses like us?
I bet you got
So who can tell me what density is now? Raise your hand.
I bet you got. I think it's gonna say that. I think
Jonah?
the duck's gonna say that.
When the particle- So how close together or far apart the particles are, right? So, our goal, eyes on me. Our goal is gonna be to try and get a boat to float. Do we think we can do it? Sit down. I'm gonna tell you guys what materials we have. We have aluminum foil. What do you think the aluminum foil is gonna be for our boat? The bottom. We have straws. What are these for? Maybe. Toothpicks and paper and tape. The paper, you have to make sure you make a flag because what do sailboats have? Well, it's called a sail. But so our boats need to have a sail because we're gonna see how well. Antonio, please go sit down. Juliana, we are going to see how well. We're not talking about the computer. We are going to see how well our boat moves through the water. If your boat floats, we're going to test to see how much weight it can hold. That's what the cubes are for. So, our groups. Listen, so you know when you're called. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. Oh, let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. Jonah, Charlie, Tucker, Henry.
Tucker. Paper.
You guys are going to be over with Mr. Miller. Somebody want to grab your packets?
Why did he call me?
Last time I bought a book. Wait for your name to come.
I got Tucker and me. That's my name.
That is why we
Come over,
should
Charlie, with Mr. Miller.
paper. Once you, I'll bring tape over to you guys. Yep, I'll bring tape over.
Tucker's not here.
Tucker Henry is. I don't know where Tucker Wellington is.
Oh, Henry. Okay.
Jaden,
Speech.
Analia,
Good.
Lincoln, and Maximus. You are going to be at my table with me. Maximus, you want this? Jaden, I'll let you carry the supplies.
Get away from me! I want to get the coronavirus.
Hey,
That's fine. How you doing? I'll get the packet.
There's yours.
I'll carry it.
Go sit down. Over there. Yep, right over there. And my last group, Juliana, Antonia, Charlotte, Elias. You guys are going to work on the back desk with Mr. Smith. We don't all get aluminum foil. Guys, we're not grabbing. Go sit at the desk. I will bring your stuff to you. Nope, right at the desk, Charlotte. Royal Fireworks. That's right here. Pick one, anyone.
I already had my group. You weren't in.
You want to go see Mr. Miller?
Are you adding people to my group?
Just Tucker Henry. He's right here.
Right.
He's been in your group.
Antonio doesn't know where he's supposed to be.
I just called your name. What did I call you for?
Go get something to write with. First one. Alright. Ooh, thank you. Now are they designing it first or are they building it first?
We're gonna design it. So yes, open up your packet. You are in my group over here. Guys, we aren't putting anything out yet. We are gonna open up our packet and design our boat first.
Antonio, do you have your theory?
No, Elias, you're over there.
sit over here, buddy. Right there, buddy. Right there, Antonio. Build a boat. Find the build a boat page right there. So you're gonna do your. Gonna draw your boat first, maybe? Design it. Draw it first. Don't touch it.
Right, four, material
Need pencil.
you will need tin foil,
Glass.
paper, and tape. So in your list, write your tin foil, you've already drawn
Charlie, use your pencil. Well, you got one already. Charlie, trade you.
Tucker. Drew on this already.
Antonio's
So we're gonna
going.
work
And we
together
don't
to
need
build
to
a boat.
doing that because we need this area to design our boat. So, stop playing with the tin foil.
We gotta build it together though.
Okay. Make sure you write down all the
Sure.
together. Nope.
Juliana.
Write down the materials.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yes, it is.
It's not, it's okay.
Okay, we're not ready.
How's your boat coming?
So,
We don't have time to
do
do
you guys wanna make a big boat?
Dude, where should you be, honey?
You want a big boat?
Well, help. Use your brain power and help our friends make a boat.
Jaden, we gotta design our boat.
So what do we gotta do with that?
Draw your boat. Draw what we want our boat to look like.
No, for the boat.
We are all we're
Okay,
making
so
one
how are we
boat.
gonna reflect that with this? We all gotta make our own boat, so.
No, we're not making 4 boats. We're making one boat
Making
together.
one boat together.
tin foil.
And we all gotta help you build it.
T-I-N.
We're making one boat together.
Hold on, do not do anything. I will be the tape
I
master.
love it. Draw your boat.
So what do you think this is gonna be? The materials I will need, hold on. Hold on, Antonio, before we start constructing for them down. You got your boat design, materials I will need.
We only
Let's
have
write
so
down.
many. We don't get a whole bunch.
So what is Antonio
We only
holding?
get so many. We only have a
Let's
certain
spell them
amount
out.
of material.
S-T.
Are we allowed to use more than this? More than what I gave
S-T.
you?
Antonio, write down straws, materials I will need for LS. S-T-R-A-W-S.
We can use that, right?
A-W. Antonio, don't, Elias, come on.
We have
Elias,
our boat drawn. Beautiful. I love it.
just use this one. A-W-S. A-S-T-A-R-S. You got it. S-T-R. A-W.
Are we gonna use this colored paper for just the
Can you
bottom
pay
of our
attention
boat?
longer? And don't get mad and throw your pencil.
Well, we don't need to.
What is this?
You gotta be able to put stuff inside your boat, right?
Sound it out. Straw. Straws. What are these?
So you got a good idea of
Two.
bending it up, right? So
So T-O-O-T-H. No, you can go, yeah, go under, now underneath this. Now underneath it. Tooth. Okay. T-O-O-T-H. Tooth.
Copy straw.
T-O-O-T-H.
Draw what you're designing.
No, no. Don't disrupt my presentation. You gotta stop, buddy. I'm trying to get our stuff here.
Well, the
Pick.
flag is gonna go on it too.
T-O-O-T-H.
Okay.
Pick. P-I-C-K. P-I-C-K.
Jaden and Annalie are working on
P-I-C-K.
So
Once
how
we
can
have our
make
parts
this
written
support
down
for
and they draw their boat, they can start.
I understand.
Yeah. Too, don't forget.
Alright?
P-I-C-K. Elias.
Okay, you have your
S-T-R-A-W. A-W.
You may take.
I don't like that on my face, please. Do not. No, Crandall, we don't need Crandall. Antonio.
So first you try to
You just
shape
big
your
deep breath.
foil.
Let it out. Let it out. Alright, are you back now?
That's it.
Alright, next time you do that, you have to. Alright, this is what's gonna make us float. This is what's gonna make us float. What do you think this is?
That is a good idea. I thought. You just thought about taping it?
There's our
Yeah,
flag.
take the middle and then.
Where this our flag?
So we're
So far, so
if I
good.
fold this and I make my other corner.
I
What
love
happened?
Make our, oh, this our flag. This normal.
So do you think we should make a circle?
you. No, that's yeah.
We gotta tape it on there, right? Elias.
Yeah, let's make a circle. How about we do this?
Use your words.
Very
We still gotta write down our,
I don't know.
Well,
we gotta write down our, stuff. So we got straws, toothpick. What is this?
is this gonna hold it?
Hey,
Is this gonna support it?
Tape.
You need to tape it.
Stop
So
touching
each
this
one of
stuff.
you tape
How
it.
do you put tape?
Sophie's running our boat.
P-I-C-K, Elias. P-I-C-K. P-I-C-K.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking to Elias. So don't.
Alright. Well, you got that much done, right? On the other side.
Tick.
Put your feet.
Start at the top of the tube.
Tape. Sound it out.
Down and around the
Tape.
other side.
Yeah, we put an E at the end. Alright, Elias.
We're gonna decide that.
T-A-P-E is tape.
Well, you can't put a hole in it.
T-A-P-E.
Now you gotta place the cap in, but I think we're gonna have to place it.
Tape is T-A-P-E. T-A-P-E for tape. T-A-P-E. Foil. This is a tough one. Elias. Sorry, Antonio. Go get your pencil. We should be writing with pencil.
Can I be after Lincoln?
Antonio, we're gonna
Alright, foil. F-O-I-L.
put one back. There you go.
F-O-I-L.
Put the top of the tape.
Foil. F-O-I-L. The next line down. Next line down. Full after tape. F-O-I-L.
If you need anything else to make structure, you gotta put your sail on. How you gonna put your sail on, do you think?
F-O-I-L.
Tape and toothpicks with you.
F-O-F-O-I-L. F-O-I, foil.
And I'm gonna have you do one more just for extra support. We want our boat to float.
Foil. F-O-I-L.
Alright, you ready to build?
Get it, Elias?
Charlie,